I hope so.
No. At 7?
Yes, I do.
It's 7 o'clock, time for our regularly scheduled council meeting. Mike, will you call the roll, please?
Collier Wise.
Here?
Erickson. Holland. Here. Humphrey. Here. Mines.
Here.
Price.
Here.
Sorensen.
Here.
Ward. Here. Mayor Powell.
Here.
Student Representative Paulson.
Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item are minutes for September 18th regular meeting and September 18th special meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Anyone knows?
Move approval.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes as printed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4, adoption of the agenda. We have at least one change, and that is to delete item 8D. 8D. That is to be deleted. John or Mike, do you know of any other changes to the agenda?
We have the one, it's not in the print agenda, with the Alpha Phi street closing request.
And that would then become item 8H on the agenda.
Would you like, so it's a request to close one block section of Pine Street from National Street to Cedar Street on Sunday, October 8, 2017, from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for an Alpha Phi Sisterhood event.
Okay. So if you'd add that to the agenda, thank you.
Agenda is amended. Second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item next is visitors to be heard. Addressing the council. Persons addressing the council shall use the microphone at the podium. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Go to the podium and state your name and address. For items that are not on the agenda, members of the public may speak under visitors to be heard on any topic not on the agenda. Remarks are limited to 5 minutes and no decision will be made at this time. For agenda items, public testimony will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item. Public testimony will then be closed and the topic will be given to the governing body for possible action. At this point, only city council members and staff may discuss the current agenda item unless a council member moves to allow another person to speak and there is unanimous consent from the council. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the presiding officer at any time. At this point, is there anyone in the audience that has an item that's not on the agenda that they'd like to bring to the council's attention? Any council? Do you have anyone on the council have an item? Seeing none, then we'll move on to public hearings. Item 6. 6A, special daily malt beverage and wine license for the Vermillion Area Arts Council on or about October 7 and October 22, 2017 at 202 Washington Street. And Mike, please.
The Vermillion Area Arts Council has submitted an application for their special daily malt beverage and wine license for events. The Chili Blues event is scheduled for October 7th, and the Art of Sustainability event is scheduled for October 22nd. Both events will be at the Washington Street, 202 Washington Street. The notice of public hearing, along with the police chief's memo and flyers for each of the events, were included in the packet. The routine police department records check revealed no alcohol violations. Staff is not aware of any problems with previous special daily license granted the Vermillion Area Arts Council. The fee has been paid. Administration recommend approval of the special daily license unless further information is provided at the public hearing.
Mike, just a clarification on their ad. It shows October 21 and 22, but then underneath that it says on the 22nd. So is your understanding it's the 22nd?
Yes, I called and confirmed that. The 21st, they're going to be doing a river walk or whatever, and then they're coming back for more of a forum on the 22nd.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that has a comment or question on this item? Turn it to council.
Second?
A motion and a second to approve the special daily malt beverage license. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, special daily malt beverage and wine license for the Vermillion Area Chamber of Commerce and Development Company on or about October 13 and 14, 2017 at Rodigan Platz and portion of Market Street for Oktoberfest events. Again, Mike, please.
The Chamber Development Company has submitted their application for the special daily malt beverage and wine license for their Oktoberfest events scheduled for Friday, October 13th and 14th. These will be held on the Rodigan Platz at the corner of Market and Main Street, and then also a half block of Market Street south of Main Street. The notice of hearing and police chief memo are included in the packet. The police chief's review of the records involved reveal no alcohol violations or felony convictions in reference to the application. Staff is not aware of any problems with the previous year's daily license granted to the Vermillion Area Chamber and Development Company. As this event will be held on a city street and on city property, ordinance allows the city to include such conditions or restrictions as the governing body may deem appropriate and consistent with state law. The request to exceed allowable noise levels and a street closure are later on the agenda. The VCDC has provided a certificate of insurance naming the city as an additional insured and provided release and indemnification, releasing the city from liability from the event. I think included in the police chief's memo, he had the fencing around the area where staff control all egress points, where IDs will be checked and issued to those old enough to purchase. Other items that have been required in the past is a cleanup plan, questions about restrooms. The fee has been paid. Administration recommend approval of the special daily malt beverage and wine license for their Oktoberfest event, contingent upon any conditions the city council would want to include on that, unless there's other information presented tonight. And it probably should include the use of the plots since it's a city facility.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anyone in the audience that has a comment on this item? Seeing none, council?
Move approval?
May I, if you don't mind, would you include in your approval the conditions that Mike read? Is that agreeable with the council? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, special permit to exceed sound levels for the Vermillion Area Chamber and Commerce and Development Company on or about October 13 and 14 at Rodigan Platz and portion of Market Street from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. for Oktoberfest events. And Mike, again, please.
With the special daily license, the VCDC has also applied for the permit to exceed allowable sound levels by no more than 50% for the events, our Oktoberfest events on the 13th and 14th. Their application is included. This would go from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. They got the diagram showing where they're going to be located on the plots. The VCDC has sponsored this event. Last year it was down on the Platz. The year before it was elsewhere. As far as we know, there's been no issues raised from the event in the past. The City Council would need to determine at the public hearing if it's a suitable location, appropriate facilities during the allowable time. The $25 fee has been paid. Administration recommend the issuance of the special permit to exceed the sound levels by no more than 50% for the VCDC on October 13th and 14th from 5 to 11 on Rodigan Platz and the portion of Market Street south of Main for their Oktoberfest events.
Anyone in the audience have a comment or question on this? Okay, council?
Second.
Motion to second to approve the special permit for permissible sound levels. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Item D, first reading of ordinance 1363, zone change to exclude from GB General Business District and include in the R3 Residential District Lot 4, Block 5, and Lot 2, Block 6, and the west 185.5 feet of Lot 1, Block 5, Partridge Addition, City of Vermillion, Clay County, South Dakota, and the exclude from R2 Residential District and include in R3 Residential District, Lot 3, Block 5, and Lots 1 and 2, Block 7, Partridge Addition, City of Vermillion, Clay County, South Dakota. Jose, please.
Thank you. As you mentioned, this is going to be for a rezone request. We're looking into rezone. If I could have the projector. There we go. The property that would be rezoned, and I have a different one, but this one actually shows all the zoning districts. The property to be rezoned has been in the city for quite a while already. Back before 2008, this area was actually zoned B1 general business, which that zoning district actually allowed commercial uses and residential uses to be in the same parcel or in the same district. 2008, the whole city gets rezoned. This area here was actually zoned along with everything else around here, general business, which did not allow for residential uses. In 2014, everything south of Shriner was rezoned R2. So went from GB, general business, to R2. So now this portion here allows for residential up to fourplexes, but no commercial uses. Just recently, this area here was rezoned to R3 from R2 and general business. So that's just a brief history of all the zoning changes that have occurred in this vicinity. The area in question has actually been marketed for sale and development for quite a few years now. The current owners are asking for the city to rezone this to hopefully facilitate the development of the area. Now, for a different map, this actually shows how the land is currently. This would be the Prairie Eye Clinic. This would be the hotel, Walmart over here, and this is Alumni Cottage and Shriner. As you can see, the area right now is undeveloped with the exception of the Prairie Eye Clinic. The area in question is going to be, as that previous map shows, adjacent to the R3 district. The new zoning would eventually create an island out of the Prairie Eye Clinic, as a Prairie Eye Clinic would stay as a general business. However, the R3 designation would offer a good buffer between the highway and the more single-family, lower-density residential south or along Alumni Rice Street. The sanitary sewer waste in this area that would be generated by whatever development may occur would actually go to the Princeton lift station, which would be over here just to the west side of Walmart. So it wouldn't be going along Dakota Street or anything of that sort. Additionally, the storm sewer that would be generated in this area would be meeting the city's requirements as far as construction and design. And then it's at this point it's estimated that the majority of that would actually be going to the ditch, with a minor portion of it going to the system along Cottage, north of where at least where one of the inverted siphons would be. The Planning Commission did review this item on September 25th. At that meeting, there were the property owners were there, the applicants were there, as well as some other representatives. We also had one neighbor at the meeting. All the comments were good, I guess, as far as the development and so forth. We did have some questions from the Planning Commission regarding drainage and Highway 50 ditch. After everything was discussed, the Planning Commission did vote unanimously for the council to pass this ordinance. The city's cost at this point would be publishing and any mailings that might have to be done at administration recommends approval of the first reading of ordinance 1363.
Thank you, Jose. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this topic?
Hi, Michelle Maloney. I represent the property owners that are hoping to, they've got it listed for sale, and I just think it's worth mentioning that they have, over time, they developed all of the streets and gutters and sewer systems all themselves. They incurred the cost for that without asking anything from the city. They've held on to it over time and have turned down things like storage units that I think probably wouldn't put the best face on our community in an effort to wait for the right project to come along. And the people who are interested in doing this property, developing it would require the R3, would do an incredible job, and I drive by that property all the time and would be proud to see that as a, a lot of times when you take the highway road across, the bypass from any city, it's not usually the prettiest side of any community, and I think this would really make Vermillion, in addition to the dome and the track, I think it would be a great addition to that sort of impression of Vermillion. So.
Thank you, Michelle. Anyone else in the audience wish to comment on this? Seeing none, turn it to the council for deliberation.
I move approval.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion to second. Further discussion? Tom, please.
I have a couple of questions.
You want to turn on your mic, please?
And I'm glad you've explained the drainage on this, because we know this, especially south of here, we've talked about drainage before, so thank you for that. The Princeton lift station is the target of this, but how far north of this is the Vermillion River? Doesn't it go
North
east,
of
west,
this?
north of this before it goes?
I
Or
would
you're
say-
talking about over by the mouth of Clay Creek? Never mind.
Yeah,
I know there used to be a bridge up north on Princeton. but it's
I
no
would say
longer.
it's probably going to be about a mile or so. if
Okay.
it's-
I just wondered about other possible drainage areas. And I congratulate the property owners on developing the streets and the curbs at their own expense. That's very admirable. And I'm wondering if you can anticipate, any of you, about what kinds of development are going to be there. We're talking R3. So are we talking about big roofs and a lot of paving where there's going to be more runoff than other options? What do you think?
I guess with any development that might happen here, whether it be single-family residential or big roofs apartments, you're still going to have an increase in drainage. Just because, a house, yes, it's going to be less, but there's going to be impermeable surface that's going to be generated. So no matter what development happens here, you're going to have some impervious. As far as the development that they are proposing, at this point, I guess I don't feel okay with saying it. I don't know if you guys want to say anything or not on that, but I guess I would assume that I would lean onto the safer side or more conservative side and assume that it would be apartments, considering that would be, out of all the developments that would occur here, would be the most, that would cause the most impact. That impact, however, is not necessarily going to be negative. Yes, it's going to generate drainage, but so is a house, I guess, so.
Well, right now, there's a lot of drainage, so
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Further discussion from the council? Yes. Catherine?
Jose, I know this is the item we're talking about now is drainage, and I know you talked about where the runoff would be. We're not worried about the 50 ditch being backed up, as we've talked about that in the past.
I guess I wouldn't be. That happens every year. It's been happening since I've been here. I'm sure it's happened since before then. So that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to be working with the DOT as far as to find a solution to. And it's not a small issue, something that we might be able to put $2 million into it. It's going to be several $1 million, maybe 10, 15. It's a pretty big project that would be, so it's something that we have to be conscious of, but it's nothing that should stop anything from occurring in this area.
Just to follow up,
Go ahead.
you don't think that developing this area here will exacerbate the problems with the drainage south of this part of town?
I don't think it would. It will impact it. Yes, it's going to impact it. Is it going to make, the world, is it going to make it a lot worse? I don't think so. So, and you have to keep in mind that we are going to be requiring some drainage improvements to go along with this. So it might not seem like a lot, but it does help significantly. So.
Further discussion? Yes.
Jose, you said that obviously we're all talking about drainage. What year was the city ordinance for drainage?
The ordinance, that's the design criteria, was adopted in 2015.
Further?
Yeah. So going back to the old neighbor problem, the last time that we met, or not last time, but a couple times ago, so that was obviously made well before 2015. So do you think that the drainage plan, the new ordinance, will have any negative effect on this new proposed building?
On the zoning area here
Yes.
that you're talking about? Would the new ordinance have a negative effect on it?
I mean, there wouldn't be the same problem as down the street.
No, yes, I would say yes to that. This new development, whatever it may be there, would actually have some requirements as opposed to the one that's by your neighborhood, the old development. Whether right or wrong or whatever the case might be, for some reason Vermillion did not have anything back then. And obviously that's not the only neighborhood that has affected. There's other neighborhoods, but requiring anything, however small it may be, is going to be an improvement to it. And this ordinance, it's not a big brick that I'm throwing at them and telling them, here, meet it. Nobody's going to shy away from it. It's actually very easy to meet compared to other cities. Look at Sioux Falls, let's say. So we're requiring something, but this isn't the heaviest ordinance that we probably could come up with.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions from the council? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, Jose.
Thanks.
We have no old business, so we'll move to new business and item 8A, request to close Market Street from West Main Street south to the east-west alley between West Main Street and Kidder Street on Friday, October 13 and Saturday, October 14 from 4 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. for Oktoberfest. And, oh, there he is. I was waiting for him to be down there. Addison, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In order to ensure the safety of the third annual Oktoberfest attendees, the Vermillion Area Chamber of Commerce and Development Company has requested Market Street from West Main Street to the alley between West Main Street and Kidder Street to be closed from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. on the evenings of Friday, October 13th and Saturday, October 14th, 2017. According to the application, the business that might be affected by the street closure have been notified. There will be volunteers to help with event setup and tear down before and after the event, and the administration recommends that the City Council approve the temporary street closing. Any other questions specific to the event can be directed to Elijah Blond, and he is the chairman.
I'd just like to make one adjustment there. It's 11:30. It's printed correctly.
I do apologize about
No,
that.
that's no problem. I just want to make sure we need Elijah to have that extra half hour to clean up things.
Of course.
Anyone in the audience wish to comment on this item? Seeing none, council?
I have a question,
Tom?
Mr. Mayor. Do you know if there will be polka or any other kind of music?
That question would best be directed to Elijah Bond.
And will it be amplified?
Evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Sorensen, the goal is yes, to have polka. Okay.
Further discussion?
Yes, sir.
If Mr. Swanson's asked about polka, is there going to be hot pretzels? I love hot pretzels.
I have not made contact with the hot pretzel vendor, but I will make it a goal in the coming days to make contact with the hot pretzel vendor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further comments?
Thank you.
Second?
Motion and second to approve the request. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, resolution adjusting curbside recycling fee. John, please.
Thank you. Back in 2008, the City Council adopted an ordinance providing for curbside recycling collection, and the voters upheld that in the November 2008 election. We began curbside recycling collection in Vermillion in September of 2009. At that time, the fee was established at $3.30 per month per residential unit. Since then, we initially get this program started. This one runs on a shoestring budget, if you will. We did apply for a grant loan to purchase the original pickup and the trailer that were utilized, and we completed the repayment of that debt service in 2016. Since that time, we have replaced the pickup, but the original recycling trailer is on its last leg. It's been welded and kind of held together, and hopefully we'll make it at least through the end of this year. In your approving the 2018 budget, you did approve applying or purchasing a new recycling equipment trailer. At the last meeting, you approved applying for a grant loan from the state that will hopefully offset part of the local costs for that. But in terms of making this budget work, a 20-cent increase was discussed during the budget meeting and approved with a budget last time, a revenue figure that reflects that. A 20-cent per month increase for qualifying residential units would generate just over $6,000 for this fund in a given year. So administration recommends adoption of the resolution to adjust the curbside recycling fee from $3.50 a month to $3.70 a month for billings that are issued after the 1st of January 2018.
I missed the... Okay, thank you. Council? Motion second to approve.
Just a quick question, if you don't mind, John. I realize that market prices affect this, and that then affects the revenue sources. But you also mentioned that several expenses have increased. Can you give me just a couple examples?
Certainly. We have two employees that basically, we have equipment employees in this fund. It's really a pretty simple fund. And so over time, as we have employee wages that will go up, we'll have those costs as well as the related benefit type costs that they might have. Sometimes insurance costs related to that. Fuel has been up and down at the time that we've had that. Obviously, this is a program that goes through a fair amount of fuel as the pickup goes around the community 5 days a week. So it's pretty limited, but it's not one that generates much money. We don't have a year's worth of operating reserve for this particular fund. We have about $20,000, which is more than what the trailer cost.
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Further comments or questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you, John. Item C, resolution adjusting stormwater drainage fee. Mike, please.
During the 2018 budget discussions and reviewing the stormwater drainage fee, the City Council, it was discussed to increase the fee that was in the budget that was just adopted at second reading last meeting. The storm drainage fee was created in 1992, whereby all properties within the city are charged an annual fee for the operation, maintenance, and capital improvements of the storm drainage fee. The fee is based on lot area times a runoff weighted factor and the unit financial charge. The fees are collected as part of the property tax collection process by the county. The 2018 revenue projections are at like $238,000. This would be up $6,800 with this increase. Due to the cost of stormwater projects and the rate collected, the storm drainage fee for a couple of years is sometimes accumulated for funding a project. In 17, the city budgeted $25,000 for project engineering, $15,000 for storm sewer repairs, and $277,000 for the stormwater improvements at the Erickson Business Park and the Linden Ravine. That project is just getting started. For 2018, the budget includes $30,000 for engineering and $15,000 for storm sewer repairs. The increase in fees is to ensure there's enough funds for future projects. The proposed increase in fee would be at 3.75%. As I stated earlier, would generate $8,600. And for a single-family home on a lot of 10,000 square feet, the annual fee would go from $28.88 to $30 per year, which would be included on the property tax statements. Administration recommends approval of the resolution to increase the storm drainage fee.
Thank you, Mike. Council?
I'm sorry, I'll defer to someone else wants to.
Go ahead, Tom.
Okay. This has a history, and we knew in June we were told that we're going to need increases, and or that we needed to pay attention to the budget, and we have. I understand you pay attention to the budget. Back then, I believe spring or maybe early summer, and I had shown this to Mr. McCullough, there are other options out there besides raising fees, and I realize this is not for that much. It's just sooner than I thought we would be doing it again. I understand that if you wait too long, then the raise has to be too large. But I think there are options that we can look at, including a state or a state statute that allows some assessment for things like this, rather than always using the storm sewer drainage fund in particular cases. And I would urge this council to look at those options as opposed to what is going to be perceived as a tax increase a year later from the last time it was increased. So it's my understanding the Skunk Hollow, which older residents of this town will know it as rather than a Linden Ravine, it is truly well known in the neighborhood. $149,000 down from $250,000, but all the paving that's going on, storm sewer drainage fees are going to be used more and more, I think. So that said, please let's consider some other options in the future on things like this rather than simply increasing the fee to the residents. Thank you.
Council, further discussion?
Approval of the increase in the storm drainage.
Second?
Motion is second to approve the resolution. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item E, a resolution of necessity and notice of hearing for sidewalk repairs in the Central Business District. And Jose, please.
Thank you. The program in question started in 2010 by the City Council. Staff actually took comments and discussed it with the council, and the program was adopted in 2010. The program divided the city into quadrants, with the southwest quadrant, so essentially everything south of National Street and west of Dakota Street, being inspected last in 2013. During that inspection, staff looked for a couple of deficiencies, essentially for trippers and surface condition. In 2015, the city amended the resolution requiring the sidewalks to be repaired, extending the deadline for repairs to 2017. At that time, the city was exploring the option of doing Main Street, a Main Street project that would have reconstructed all of the sidewalks rather than undertaking spot repairs on the deficient sidewalks. Staff is asking at this point to amend the existing special assessment once again by removing requirements from the owners to complete the repairs, so essentially eliminating the assessment altogether. The city is exploring once again the option of performing a Main Street project that would reconstruct all of the sidewalks. Some of this cost would more than likely be passed along to the property owners, requiring the owner to complete a sidewalk repair and at a later time pay for downtown sidewalks, which might seem unreasonable. If the Main Street project were not to take place, the downtown sidewalks would still be inspected in 2018 with the repairs, if that was the case, occurring in 2020. Amending a special assessment requires that the governing body do a couple things: set a public hearing and also notify the property owners of the hearing by both sending notices and publishing the notice on the paper. The notice calls for the public hearing to be held on October 16, 2017. The cost cost will include postage and the publication of the notice. Administration recommends adoption of the resolution that sets a public hearing date for October 16th, 2017.
Thank you, Jose. Council? A motion and a second to approve the resolution of necessity for the Central Business District. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item F, resolution of necessity and notice of hearing for sidewalk repairs in the northwest quadrant. Again, Jose.
Okay, thanks. So essentially, it's the same thing as the previous one, except now we're looking at the northwest quadrant. The northwest quadrant we actually inspected this year, and this would be anything north of National Street and west of North Dakota Street. Same as the previous one. During the inspection, staff looks at essentially trippers and surface conditions. Depending if it meets the criteria, then we tag the sidewalks, and the property owner has a certain amount of time to get their repairs completed. Special assessment process requires that the governing body, similar as the previous one, has two things: set a public hearing and notify the property owners of the hearing by both sending letters and publishing the notice of the hearing on the paper. The notice calls for the public hearing to be held on October 16th, 2017. The costs at this point will include postage and notice of publication. In 2019, the city will need to budget for sidewalk repairs throughout the community that did not pass inspection. Administration recommends adoption of the resolution that sets a public hearing date for October 16th, 2017.
Council? A motion and a second to approve the resolution of necessity for the northwest quadrant. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. And item G, resolution fixing the time and place for a hearing and notice of hearing on the special assessment roll for sidewalk repairs in the northeast quadrant. Jose?
Thanks. So as you can see, there's a severity level every single time I say something.
What's happening to the south?
So again, it's a sidewalk project again. November 16th of 2015, the council actually approved the resolution adopting the resolution of necessity for the sidewalk repairs in the northeast quadrant of the city. This resolution involved repairing those sidewalks that were not completed by the property owners. The special assessment was calculated and filed with the finance officer on September 19th, 2017. The city is required to hold a public hearing to allow the affected property owners to review and discuss any concerns regarding the assessment. The property owners that would be assessed will be notified of the hearing by mail, and also the notice will be published in the Plain Talk. The construction cost to be assessed is $16,644.04. This value does not include the administrative fee, which is either $50 or 8% of the construction cost, whichever is greater. Administration recommends approving the resolution to set the hearing date for October 16th of 2017.
Thank you, Jose. Comments, questions from the council? Certainly.
Jose, where's the northeast quadrant? From where to where?
The northeast? So,
Yes.
Okay, the northeast would be north of Maine and east of Dakota.
Further comments, discussion? Rich? Motion and a second to approve the resolution for the northeast quadrant. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks, Jose.
Thank you.
Item H is a request to close a one-block section of Pine Street from National Street to Cedar Street on Sunday, October 8th, 2017, from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for an Alpha Phi Sisterhood event. Jake, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So this request is for Sunday, October 8th, 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. You can see on the map the section that's being requested to be closed. If this looks familiar, we've had a closure request for this. This is about the third time in about 6 weeks or so. Previously on August 17th and then on September 29th. Just a few things of note with this and why we asked a representative to be here. This was the second time we've had a request come in after the time we request these be brought in. We asked for a week, and the original came in the day of the last council meeting. This one came in on Friday, and so we just walked the line between trying to be flexible and also having a policy and allowing enough time so we can get these on the agenda. A few other things to note. The application noted the neighboring properties hadn't been notified, so that would be a recommendation administration would make, would be to notify the neighbors, make them aware of this. And then also note the most recent street closure on this last Friday was accompanied by an event that did result in a citation for excessive noise being issued. And so with that, we do have a member of Alpha Phi here. I would note that Bailey did not turn in any of the applications late, so they must have some dirt on you if you had to end up to be here instead of them. But with that, we can take any questions you might have.
Thank you, Jay. I think you have raised some issues that are relevant that we'd like to ask the representative, and that's specifically about the timeliness of getting requests into the city administration's offices, as well as excessive noise without having a noise permit. So do you have some comments that you'd like to make?
Yes, I am actually not the member of Alpha Phi that planned this event. She was not able to make it here tonight, so I'm filling in for her. So I guess I would just go back to the house and give her the advice to get the forms in on that timely manner. I've never filled one of these out before, so I would let her know that. And as far as the noise complaint goes, I was not at this event. I was at another university function, but from my understanding of it, the member who planned this event did not realize that the street closure needed to come with a special permit for the sound, and she thought that it was kind of all-encompassed. So that is something else that I will bring back to the house, and lesson learned with the citation, so very sorry about that.
The third leg of this is letting neighbors know.
Yes, once again, I actually think that our president should be able to go and let the residents know and knock on doors. And we've been trying to get that lot across from us to be a parking lot, so we've been knocking down on their doors lately to try to get their support. So that will be another issue that I will bring to our executive board to let them know about.
Other council, Rich, please.
Is this event going to have a DJ also?
This event will not have a DJ, no. It's called the Escape Unit, and they bring trailers, and basically what it is, from my understanding, is they take teams into the trailers, and it's a way to build your critical thinking and leadership skills, and they kind of trap you in the trailer, and you have to figure out how to escape.
That's a lot quieter than the DJ.
Yeah.
Tom, please.
Thank you for being here and for stepping in for who else probably should have been here, but excuse me. Whether you had a sound permit or not last weekend, you would have exceeded 50% in my judgment. Okay. Just so you know that, because those exceptions, if they're granted, are up to 50% exceeding the sound level. And I'm glad to hear you're talking about something more quiet. Yeah. But as was pointed out, this was kind of a late request. You did not seek a noise exception, a noise ordinance exception. This is also Dakota Day weekend. I know perhaps Sunday things quiet down a lot, but perhaps they don't. Some people stick around. It's going to be busy, and it's nice to have streets open and available. Neighbors need to be notified. That notice is very important. Is this going to be a monthly request?
No, this is not. This will be our last request. We do have a shift in leadership coming up, so I'm not sure what they will plan when they get into office, but as far as my executive board, this is the last time we will be requesting this.
Do you know whether there's talk among the Panhellenic Council or the other houses, whether they might want to think about doing the same thing on their block? Or is that an unfair question?
Not that I know of. That's not really in my realm. I'm not in communication with the other houses, but I can definitely try to find out and get back to you.
Okay. Thank you again for being here and answering questions.
No problem.
Other comments or questions? Do we need verification that neighbors have been notified?
Can we grant conditionally based on?
Yes, we certainly can, and it'd be a question of to whom do they report that they contacted their neighbors. I would assume that would be to the city manager's office. Is that correct, John? Before Friday, or no later than Friday, because the event is Sunday. So I would say that we would need that verification. Is that something the council is willing to add as a condition?
Did we add it as a condition for the last one?
No. We didn't know there was going to be noise at the exceeded level. But I think it's just good neighbors to, if you're going to block off a street, let the people know. So that would be my recommendation. Kelsey, please.
I think one of the things that this has just kind of brought to the forefront is maybe we need things like that that are always included in some of these street closure requests. And I think it's also brought to the forefront that maybe we need to revisit what the purpose of street closures are, and if it's being used maybe to access for private events, that's something that we might want to revisit at a future time. I mean, I think at this point, we have allowed it several times, and I would move approval with the condition that we know that neighbors are notified.
Is that a motion?
It is.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Item 9 is bid opening. You have in front of you fuel quotes. Mike, please.
The fuel quotes were received. The first quote for unleaded gasoline from Stern Oil was $1.98.91 cents per gallon. Item 2 was unleaded gasoline regular. I should clarify that item 1, it was with 10% ethanol. The regular unleaded is $2.2228 cents. Number 2 diesel fuel dyed, $2.01.06 cents. And number 2 diesel fuel clear, $2.31.25 cents. Second quote was from Brunick Service on item 1, $2.02. Item 2, $2.30. Item 3, $2.06. Item 4, $2.34. Stern Oil would be low on all 4 items.
Thank you, Mike. Council?
Approval of the low bid. Second.
A motion is second to accept the low bids. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is City Manager's report. John, please.
Thank you. I do have confirmation that the Tower Company representative will attend your next meeting on October 16th at the evening meeting, and they will have answers to the questions in response to Ordinance 1355. This was the ordinance to provide an exception for towers that are located closer than 300 feet of residential zones or uses. So it would be the second reading of Ordinance 1355. And he is sending me a packet of information that I should have here within the next day or so that will provide an opportunity to review the information prior to getting your packet. So a little bit longer time to take a look at it. Just a couple of street closings to note. Obviously, this is Dakota Days Week, and the USD Dakota Days Parade is this Saturday, October 7th. So Main Street from High Street to South Norbeck Street will be closed from 7 a.m. to approximately 12:30 p.m. when the parade is concluded. West Main Street is abuts Radigan Platts, and Market Street from West Main to Kidder Street will be closed on Wednesday, October 4th. That'll be from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., and that is the USD Dakota Days event, sometimes referred to as Bermtown Bash. A couple of open houses to reference. The Fire EMS Department, they have their open house coming up on Wednesday, October 11th, a week from Wednesday. The open house is from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's free and open to the public. Just a reminder that this year Dakota Street from just north of the north entrance to McDonald's to West Duke Street will be closed from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for event safety. City offices will be closed next Monday, October 9th for the Native American Day holiday. The household hazardous waste collection is Friday, October 13th. That's from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Recycling Center, North Crawford Road, and there's a $10 per vehicle charge for the waste collection. Again, it's Friday the 13th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the next morning in Yankton. This week, Light Power, they're having their open house on Thursday, October 5th. That is from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's free, open to the public. It's at our Municipal Service Center at 115 West Duke Street. And then Alpha Phi will be at your next meeting, as there is a request for a zoning variance for as the young lady referenced, a parking, where they'd like to construct a parking lot just west of their house there. So they will be before you with a variance request to rezone that particular property. Or excuse me, a variance to construct a parking lot in that particular corner.
Thank you, John. Any comments or questions for our city manager? Seeing none, then we'll move to Stump Mike with invoices payable. Any questions on the invoice that's before you? Invoices that are before you?
Of course, I have a question.
Tom, please.
Thanks for smiling. Mike, where would we have a $7,000 gate? Or anyone who might know.
Which bill is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Number 7.
This was, I looked that up too, was it Parks and Rec, had a fence and some gate installed.
Oh, for during construction, you mean off of Clark?
Oh, I pulled that out and I looked at it too, but I can't remember.
Well, just let me know when you find out.
Yeah.
You know, that's a first in 18 years.
No, it isn't. I've been stumped before. I send that email out.
Get a free meal or a
donut.
Get an answer within an hour.
Before you get home, the answer will be on your...
Mr. Carlson, I did not mean to stump you.
No, that's fine. I remember.
Thank you.
I looked at that too, because when I seen it, we had a gate, and I knew it was, I'm probably wrong, even at Parks and Rec, I thought they had something in.
Is that the airport gate?
No, I don't think it was the airport gate.
Should we go into executive session here? I assume he will get that word to us all. Watergate. Any other questions to Mike? Motion and second to pay our bills. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no consensus agenda, Steve. Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned. Thank you.